What if a simple dream could change your entire life? What if the universe really did send signs to guide you toward your destiny? Would you follow them? That's exactly what happens in The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, one of the most inspiring books ever written. It's a story about courage, love, adventure, and the powerful idea that when you truly want something, the whole universe will help you achieve it. Today, I want to take you on that journey. From the quiet hills of Spain to the sands of the Egyptian desert, where a young shepherd named Santiago searches for treasure, but ends up discovering something even greater. Our story starts in Spain. There is a young shepherd named Santiago. He spends his days wandering the rolling hills of Andalusia with his sheep. He loves his simple life, but sometimes he looks toward the horizon and wonders if there might be more waiting for him in the world. Every night, Santiago sleeps under a big sycamore tree outside an old, abandoned church. And every night, he has the same dream. In the dream, a mysterious child appears and tells him there is hidden treasure waiting for him at the base of the Egyptian pyramids in Egypt. He wakes up each morning puzzled and excited, wondering what it all could mean. He even laughs softly and says to one of his favorite sheep, "I hope you're ready for adventure, pal." Though, of course, he gets no answer but the sheep's calm bleat. Santiago decides to seek advice. He visits a gypsy fortune teller, an old woman with piercing eyes, and tells her about his dream. To his amazement, she believes him. "Follow the dream," she says. "There's treasure where your dream shows." Even though he's skeptical, Santiago is intrigued. He starts to think, maybe I have to find out. Then Santiago meets an even stranger man on the road. This man calls himself Melchizedek, the king of Salem. He seems to know a lot about Santiago, things Santiago hasn't said. He tells Santiago that everyone on Earth has a personal legend or destiny, and that Santiago's destiny is to find this treasure. The king gives Santiago 2 magic stones, Urim and Thummim, to help him make decisions. Melchizedek basically says, you must leave behind what's familiar, sell your sheep, and travel to North Africa if you want this treasure. It feels like destiny. Inspired and a little shocked, Santiago decides to take the leap. He sells his flock of sheep. With the few coins he gets, he buys a ticket on a ship to Tangier, North Africa. He says goodbye to the friend taking care of his sheep and to his family. It's a hard choice, but Santiago's curiosity and hope carry him forward. Santiago arrives in Tangier a bit shell-shocked. He has just crossed the sea for the first time, and it's a whole new world. The harbor is crowded with wooden boats and brightly colored market stalls selling spices. He smells salt air mixed with the scent of grilled meat and sweet mint tea. Vendors call out in languages Santiago doesn't understand. It's exciting but overwhelming. He is tired from the journey, hungry, and even afraid for a moment, thinking he's stepped into another planet. Santiago arrives in Tangier a bit shell-shocked. He has just crossed the sea for the first time, and it's a whole new world. The harbor is crowded with wooden boats and brightly colored market stalls selling spices. He smells salt air mixed with the scent of grilled meat and sweet mint tea. Vendors call out in languages Santiago doesn't understand. It's exciting but overwhelming. He is tired from the journey, hungry, and even afraid for a moment, thinking he's stepped into another planet. But then something terrible happens. A man approaches Santiago, pretending to be friendly. Before Santiago realizes it, the man robs him. He snatches Santiago's pouch of money and runs away into the crowd. Santiago stands there, in shock, alone, without a cent in a strange city. He feels helpless, feet trembling, but he knows he must survive. The shop is dim and quiet. Santiago steps inside and takes it all in. Wooden shelves hold rows of crystal glasses and cups, all coated in a thin film of dust. A small bell above the door jingles whenever a customer passes by outside, unaware of this little store. Santiago is grateful just to have a roof over his head. He starts with the most basic tasks, sweeping the floor, dusting the shelves, and polishing each glass until it glints in the weak sunlight. He even washes dishes and prepares simple meals of tea and bread. The scent of lemon polish and spilled mint tea fills the air as he works long days. While working hard and saving every coin, Santiago never forgets his dream of the treasure. After about a year, he's learned Arabic, made some friends in town, and saved a small pile of money. During that time, he even comes up with ways to improve the business. One cold morning, he notices how customers look longingly at the glowing crystal cups. So, he makes some hot tea and serves it in crystal glasses to show their beauty. He also rearranges the crystals in the front window and puts them on a bright cloth to make them sparkle. Slowly but surely, business picks up. The crystal merchant was impressed, maybe even a bit surprised, by Santiago's ideas. Thanks to Santiago's persistence, the little shop starts attracting more customers. Eventually, Santiago looks at the money he's earned and realizes it's enough to continue his journey. He thanks the crystal merchant warmly. The kind man even admits that he has learned from Santiago that it can be good to take risks. With the merchant's blessing, Santiago leaves Tangier, heading for the Sahara Desert. He joins a long caravan of travelers and merchants crossing the Sahara toward Egypt. The journey is an entirely new adventure. Each morning, Santiago wakes before dawn to climb onto his camel. The camel's hooves make soft thuds on the sand. The sky is still filled with stars, and the cool night air quickly warms as the sun rises. As the day begins, the sand dunes stretch out in front of him, golden and endless. The sun is fierce and hot, turning the sand into a blinding sea of light. Santiago wraps his head with his scarf, feeling the heat on his skin. Nights are freezing cold by contrast. Santiago huddles in his cloak by the campfire and stares up at a sky so clear he can see thousands of stars. The silence of the desert at night feels peaceful. In the caravan, Santiago meets a young Englishman who carries heavy, leather-bound books. The Englishman explains he is traveling to an oasis because he's heard a legendary alchemist lives there. By the fire at night, the Englishman reads aloud from his books about alchemy, the idea of turning ordinary metals into gold and finding the secrets of the universe. Santiago listens in awe. He learns about something called the soul of the world, which is an invisible spiritual force that connects everything. The Englishman tells stories of alchemists searching for the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life. Santiago isn't sure he believes it all, but he's eager to learn. He and the Englishman become friends, swapping stories. Santiago tells of his dream of treasure, and the Englishman shares his knowledge of omens and alchemy. Now Santiago has someone to share his journey with, and the days on the camel feel a little shorter. Finally, after many hot, dusty days, the caravan arrives at a lush oasis called Al-Fayoum. It feels like a miracle after the endless sand. Palm trees sway gently in the breeze, and there's a spring-fed pond with cool, fresh water. Wildflowers bloom. Travelers drink and rest here. As Santiago steps off his camel, he feels a sense of relief and almost an awe. This green valley in the middle of the desert looks like paradise. It is calmer here. Santiago realizes he hasn't felt this relaxed in months. While exploring the oasis, Santiago meets a beautiful young woman named Fatima by a well. She has warm, dark eyes and a soft smile. Santiago instantly feels a connection. The two talk gently under the palm trees as they fill water jugs. They end up sitting together, eating sweet dates from a basket. Santiago tells her some of his story and listens as she talks about life in the oasis. They share tea, and as the sun sets, they laugh like old friends. That night, as he falls asleep, Santiago realizes he has fallen in love with Fatima. Her very presence makes the air feel easier to breathe. Something else happens while Santiago is in love. One night, he stands at the oasis's edge, gazing at the stars, and he has another vision. He sees armies of swordsmen riding toward Al-Fayoum. When he wakes, he rushes to tell the tribal leaders about his warning. At first, they are skeptical, but he persuades them to prepare defenses. As Santiago predicted, warriors from a desert tribe attack Al-Fayoum at dawn, but the people are ready. The camp is organized and armed. Quietly, when the attackers arrive, they see the village prepared. They interpret this as a sign that an omen protects Al-Fayoum, and they turn away rather than fight. Thanks to Santiago's warning, no one is hurt. The entire oasis is safe. The villagers are amazed that a young shepherd predicted the danger. Word of what Santiago did spreads quickly. That very night, the legendary alchemist himself comes to see Santiago. He's a tall, calm figure in a dark cloak. By the campfire, the alchemist smiles kindly and praises Santiago's courage. He tells Santiago that following omens and dreams was wise. The alchemist says he too had seen something special in the stars about Santiago. Sitting together, the alchemist emphasizes how important it is to trust his heart on this journey. He tells Santiago that his dream is indeed the right path, and that now is the time to continue toward the pyramids. The alchemist also reminds him of Fatima's promise to wait, which reassures Santiago even more. He promises to guide Santiago through the next part of the desert. The story ends with Santiago laughing joyfully, realizing that the true treasure was not just the physical wealth but the journey itself, the people he met, especially Fatima, the woman he loves, and the lessons he learned about following his heart and trusting in the soul of the world. Late one afternoon, two fierce tribal chieftains on horseback suddenly appear and surround the two travelers. The air is still and tense. The chieftains brandish swords and demand to know who Santiago is and why he's crossing their desert. Santiago feels his heart pounding, but he remains calm. The alchemist steps forward and speaks in fluent Arabic, claiming that Santiago is a powerful alchemist. He tells the chieftains that Santiago can bring them fortune if left alive. He even gives all the gold coins he has in his pouch to prove it. The alchemist then declares, "If you kill this boy, he will become the wind and raise the desert against you." The warlords are amazed by his words. They agree to a test. Now Santiago's terrified. He has no idea how to become the wind. For the next 2 days, the chieftains sit and wait as Santiago prays and focuses on nature. He remembers everything the alchemist taught him about the soul of the world and listening to his heart. On the 3rd day, Santiago stands in the center of the camp and calls upon the sun, the wind, and the earth. A sudden sandstorm engulfs the area. In the chaos, Santiago finds himself lifted up as if he were one with the wind. The chieftains watch in awe as the storm calms and Santiago stands unharmed at the edge of the camp. He has somehow performed the miracle. Terrified but respectful, the chieftains allow Santiago and the alchemist to go free. Shaken but unharmed, Santiago and the alchemist continue on. Santiago murmurs a silent prayer of thanks as they mount their camels again. They travel for more days under the blazing sun, and each night they camp under the stars. Finally, One late afternoon, Santiago spots a range of massive structures on the horizon. They draw closer, and before Santiago's eyes rise the great Egyptian pyramids, glowing pale gold in the sunlight. He can hardly believe it. After all these adventures, he has reached the place from his dreams. Nearby, they find a simple Coptic monastery. It's quiet and cool after the hot day. Inside its stone walls, the alchemist shows Santiago one last wonder. In a dimly lit chamber, the alchemist pulls out 2 dull pieces of lead. He explains how they represent fear and ignorance. Then, with a few whispered words and a gentle touch, the lead instantly transforms into gleaming gold nuggets. Santiago's jaw drops. He watches gold appear out of thin air. The alchemist smiles and splits the gold into 2 piles. He gives one pile to Santiago, saying it's time for Santiago to continue the final leg of his journey alone. The next morning, Santiago sets out by himself toward the pyramids. He feels a little nervous riding without the alchemist, but he is excited. He has learned so much and feels stronger. After a long journey through the desert, he finally reaches the foot of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Santiago dismounts and falls to his knees in the sand. He takes his shovel and starts digging where he believes the treasure might be hidden. Each shovelful of sand is a mix of hope and anxiety. The sun begins to set, and he worries he might not find anything. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a group of ragged refugees emerges and tackles him. They think he might have money. They roughly shake him, looking for gold. Santiago fights back with words rather than strength. He tells them about his strange dream and the journey to the pyramids. One of the men, a weary traveler with kind eyes, listens and then shares an astonishing revelation. This man had a dream too. In his dream, he saw treasure buried under a sycamore tree at an old abandoned church in Spain. The very church and tree where Santiago had the dream in the first place. In that instant, everything clicks for Santiago. All the pieces fall into place in his mind. He realizes that the treasure he has been seeking was not at the pyramids at all, but back home in Spain under the sycamore tree. The others gasp. They had no idea why Santiago was digging there. Feeling relieved and surprised, Santiago thanks the man. The refugees, understanding now that Santiago isn't crazy, let him go on his way. They just leave him with their blessing as they continue their own journey. Inside the chest are heaps of gold coins and sparkling jewels, more treasure than he ever dreamed of. Santiago can hardly believe it. He fills his pockets with as many coins as he can carry and then sits down, tears of joy in his eyes. He knows he has truly found what he was looking for. The story ends with Santiago laughing joyfully, realizing that the true treasure was not just the physical wealth but the journey itself, the people he met, especially Fatima, the woman he loves, and the lessons he learned about following his heart and trusting in the soul of the world. Follow your personal legend. Everyone has a unique purpose, what Coelho calls a personal legend. The story teaches us that true fulfillment only comes when we pursue what we were meant to do, even if the journey is risky or uncertain. Listen to your heart. Santiago learns that the heart speaks a universal language of love, fear, and intuition. The key is to trust it, even when it's scared, because your heart knows the way. The universe helps those who help themselves. One of the book's most famous ideas is, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. But this doesn't mean waiting around. It means taking action, staying open to signs, and being willing to grow. True treasure is within. Santiago's search for physical treasure ends with a discovery that what he was really looking for was self-knowledge, courage, and the wisdom gained along the way. The journey changes him more than the reward. Embrace the journey, not just the destination. The story shows that setbacks, detours, and unexpected mentors all serve a purpose. Every step, even the painful ones, is part of your growth. Fear is a bigger barrier than failure. Fear of loss, fear of change, fear of failure. These are the real enemies. Santiago has to overcome all of them. The lesson? Don't let fear stop you from living your purpose. Love doesn't hold you back. It supports your growth. True love, as shown in Santiago's relationship with Fatima, doesn't ask you to give up your dreams. It encourages you to chase them. Everything happens for a reason. From being robbed to working for the crystal merchant, every challenge Santiago faces pushes him forward. Coelho's message is, trust the process. Life knows what it's doing.